The forum staff clearly makes inflammatory assumptions about their members. Hey everyone, this is Vintage Story. And if you like Minecraft, then you should love Vintage Story a million times more. And these are the official Vintage Story forums. Now, I think I've been a pretty healthy member to the community here, but I was recently banned from the forums, and I don't feel like it was totally fair. So let's unpack some of this, and I'll show you my story here. And with that said, I want to say that they chose to ban me. I'm totally fine with that. I don't want to be where I'm not wanted. But maybe some of you want to know what's up, why I'm not in the forums anymore. This is why. So let's get started. If this outcome is not satisfactory, you're welcome to contact Enego support and make an official complaint about my moderation. I'm really having to pull teeth to figure out what it is I did wrong that I'm about to get banned for. What? Really? Me asking how I could have been more polite got me my 4th warning. That is unfortunate. But the current system we have going on where I'm getting official warnings for trying to learn how to be kind is getting ridiculous. I got banned for making a controversial topic, but this topic right below it is still up and not locked, and it is very controversial. Microwaves are the most evil constructs in this world. They are pure chaotic evil. Do you guys need more moderators? Because the ones you got are not being consistent. I was told, do not engage in the behavior of your peers. Well, engaging in the behavior of your peers includes thanking them for their help. And so, what am I supposed to think after being put in a confusing situation like this? Alright, I'm Rudometkin. I recently got banned from the official Vintage Story forums, and we'll get into that. I just want to basically go over the 5 things I got warned for, and go into a little bit of things here and there, and then I'll leave. I will preface this also by saying that while I think the Vintage Story forums are not run very good, that says nothing to the game itself. I think the Vintage Story game and Enego Studios as a game development company is doing an amazing job. I think they are making one of the best games that ever existed. Definitely my favorite game. I think Tyrant, as the lead developer, I've had some great discussions with him. I think he's a very intelligent person, and I think he's doing a great job at running Enego Studios. The forums, however, on the other hand, I think the admin that's running it, I think she's a bonehead. I think she has a lot of things to grow with. I think she's unfair. But at the end of the day, I understand why I was banned, kind of, and I accept it. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a number, and if I'm being problematic to the forum staff, then yeah, they got to keep peace, so they got to get rid of the people who are not, they don't deem as keeping peace. So, but one of the problems with the forum staff is that they keep a lot of unpeaceful comments on the boards, but they will delete my comments that they deem not peaceful, and they'll ban me over them that they deem not against the rules. But they leave a lot of comments in from other people that I'm not sure if I'm not sure what the full extent of all that is, but I'm showing you my perspective. Now, as you can see, I have 5 warning points, and the 5th one is a ban. I'm not allowed to make any posts. As a member, you can see I have 217 posts. I won the day on July 3rd, which means on July 3rd I had the most liked content. I have a reputation of 134, whatever that means. My reputation is, according to the forum, my reputation is excellent. I'll show you some of my forum posts where I contributed. It actually started out with this post, where I was introducing myself to the community, got 14 likes, people, everything was pretty positive here. A lot of great people were posting. This is me talking about a in-depth gaming system in the game. This is me with a very well-organized and well-thought-out little idea, suggestion for the game that I put in the suggestions forum. This is me defending the difficult challenge of the game right here. This is me talking about another in-depth mechanic of the game, some technical stuff. This is me reinforcing that deep discussions are good, because I had some members that were saying, hey, basically you talk too much, you have walls of text. And that's from me being very thorough when I talk to people. This one is one of my favorite posts right here. I go into how to give quality feedback to suggestions, because there's a problem with the way some of the members give feedback to suggestions. This is original stuff. I probably spent, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours, 2 to 4 hours writing this and organizing it in a very good way. So I guess I'm starting with this to show that, hey, I can be a healthy member, So as I was saying, let's get to the first warning. What was the first warning I got? I think the first warning came in the form of 2 warnings. The first warning I got from the admin was, this is the note I was told: engage in the topic, not in the behavior of your peers. This message is a screed on someone's attitude and unrelated to the topic at hand. And I believe it was the same message that they said, stick to the topic at hand, and no need to make the majority of your replies about the conduct of others and the philosophy therein. This is concern trolling. I believe it was the same message that this was about, but this first one didn't have anything tied to it. Like this one right here says, it takes me to the exact post, but the other one didn't. But they were both on the same day. They had both happened on the same day, so I believe they were the same one. We'll treat it as such. What is a screed? The admin is saying that I made a message that's a screed on someone's attitude. Well, a screed apparently is a long, monotonous speech or a piece of writing, lengthy discourse, or it's a long piece of writing that often expresses a strong opinion or is considered boring. Okay, interesting. What is concern trolling? The admin for my first warnings was just declared that I was concern trolling. Now, I've been genuine in my time here, and if anybody says otherwise, they can kick rocks, including the admin here. So, what's concern trolling? I looked up concern trolling. Apparently, it's someone who is on one side of the discussion but pretends to be a supporter, I guess, of the other side. Concern troll is someone who disingenuously, which means who isn't genuine, they visit sites of an opposing ideology to disrupt conversation by offering unwanted advice on how to solve problems which do not really exist. Alternatively, concern troll is someone who enters a discussion with a preformed opinion contrary to the majority opinion, but pretends to conform in order to subtly sow dissent and doubt without being called on it. Now, I definitely have unpopular opinions. I have unpopular opinions, but I'm upfront and blunt about them, honestly. If anything, I don't pretend, and I'm not disingenuous. So that right there, we've already established that the admin is very quick with charging members, at least me, with something that I'm not doing. I'm not concern trolling. I'm not trolling. I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't troll. I'm being genuine. So let's go to the comment. This is the comment that got me as concern trolling, and I got a warning for engaging in the tone or the behavior of my peers, is what it was said to be. I was replying to this comment, and this comment is Trogdor. Oh, and with this forum thing, this is all public information, so I'm not worried about sharing members and sharing this, because this is all you can go on the forum and see this stuff for yourself. So Trogdor said, it's clear this is a topic you're passionate about to me, but your tone comes across as arrogant and dismissive. It was this arrogant and dismissive tone that got the other thread locked not too long ago. There's a thread that got locked. And so I just want to establish this really quick right here. So I don't know if Trogdor got warned for their behavior. Probably not, but maybe. But I got warned for my reply to this, right? And I believe that one of the things I got warned for was engaging with their behavior. But they were engaging with my behavior. So they should have got warned. I don't know if they were. Probably not. But yeah, I said, the moderator said the other thread was locked for passive-aggressive discussion. Perhaps that was a reference to the tones of others. basically this member is saying, hey, you got the thread locked. And I'm like, well, maybe you got it locked. Maybe it was because of you. I don't know. I wouldn't know. I'm just leveling the playing field here. Though we're deep in some random discussion, right? So I think that's fair for me to say. I don't think I should get warned for that. Or if I'm going to get warned for that, I think they should have too. But another thing I want to go after here is this is probably right here what got me unfortunate side. The how would I say this? It brought me misfortune with the moderators because I said this right here. I said plus staff determined it should be locked. That does not that in itself does not mean it was the healthiest choice for the community. Therefore, even if it was locked because of me, doesn't mean I wasn't doing anything unhealthy for the community. Basically, what I'm doing is fair. I'm saying just because staff locked a thread doesn't mean it was because of me, but it also doesn't mean it's because it was unhealthy. Maybe they made a mistake locking that thread. Maybe that was bad for the community. Maybe they shouldn't have done that. Maybe they shouldn't have closed discussion like that. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm putting it into question because this person is attacking me on this. So what I'm doing here is I'm defending myself and being logical, showing, hey, and I'm putting the moderators into question. But I'm doing it in a fair way. I think it's okay for me to do that. But the moderators, typically don't like you to challenge their authority. I'll challenge people's authority if they are subject to being challenged. I'm not scared of that. I understand that's probably what led me to ultimately being banned, and hey, that's fine, fair enough. But I wanted to go over that. That's an important part. You can read the rest of this. You can pause it and stuff like that. I defended some things, but I think some overall banter here is what was going on. Fair enough. Okay, I got warned for that. That's fair enough. I don't dispute that so much. The second thing I got warned for, I think it's my second official warning, because this first one I wasn't given a point. No, the first one I was given a point. The second one, I think it was referring to the same post. I didn't get a point. And then, so this is my second real warning right here. Let's see what this is. This is exactly the kind of message you were warned about, disparaging your peers in. Here you are blaming them for their inaction. That simply isn't up to you. Well, I'll let you guys read a lot of this, right? So basically, let me go to this post. I had made a post and it got deleted. And so I made this post and I said, unfortunately, one of my large messages appears to have been silently deleted from this thread somehow. I've been silenced somehow. And I said, it appears to me that I'm being shadow banned, secretly silenced by staff, as they have already warned me on the false pretenses that I am content trolling. Again, the content trolling was the beginning of my interaction with staff, and it was unwarranted. They just came out of nowhere saying, hey, you're content trolling. And I don't think that's fair. You can read through what I said. I know a lot of this, too, you're going to have to go through the forums and read everything, and I'm not trying to go through all that here. You can go here. You don't have to be a member of the community to see it, I don't think. So I also have the message that was deleted somewhere. If somebody wants it, let me know. I can send you the post that got deleted or hidden. But anyways, I was complaining about that, and then I said, hey, many of you people may not like me. But I said, but letting me get treated rather unfairly like this may backfire on you one day, because one day it could be you who gets wrongfully accused of content trolling by staff. This is something that the community should be very careful about. Even this post may be deleted for controversy and drama, but it's really just me adequately and reasonably representing my experience as a fair member of this community. So I'm just saying, hey guys, look, I'm a genuine member that's being silenced, and staff is saying I'm content trolling. And I'm not. So this is wrong. I'm just coming out and saying, hey guys, this is a red flag. This is wrong. And they didn't like that, of course. Of course, they're saying, hey, we don't like you doing that, right? So fair enough. Fair enough. I'm being a squeaky wheel, ain't I? So get rid of me. That's fine. Let's go back to the next warning. See, so far all these warnings are fair enough, right? Topic bumping. Here's one. Zelda Ryan. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Said, please use less passive-aggressive language and use one topic to respond to all. No topic bumping with 10 replies, please. Well, I replied 4 times in a row. I didn't reply 10 times in a row, but let's see. let's see the message that I got a warning for on this one. This would be my third warning. This Shotai character was oops. So this one is, as you can see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row. So okay, I got a warning for bumping 4 in a row. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to do that. That's fair enough. So Shotai said, meanwhile, this is like we're in the middle of a debate. You guys don't know what's going on, but you'd have to read it, right? But Shotai told me, he said, meanwhile, you've done nothing but act like and I'm reading what they said, I'm just quoting, you've done nothing but act like a snot-nosed brat since the beginning of our encounter, openly mocking anything I have to say, and once the conversation breaks down, you seem to want to make it my responsibility to address your arguments in a satisfactory manner. So apparently this right here is passive-aggressive. I said, let's see. I said, man, the assessment of my character is so heavy, but the hard logic is lacking. Why are you attacking my character so hard, Shotai? I hope I'm saying that right too, Shotai. How can we de-escalate the situation and try to reason with intellectual discussion without the personal attacks? Do you guys think that's passive-aggressive so far, deserving of a warning? Well, let's keep reading. I said, maybe you're right, I've acted like a snot-nosed brat. What colorful language to paint me as a snot-nosed brat. Why are you calling people on the forum snot-nosed brats? Is that allowed? But if I have been, then more people should act like snot-nosed brats, because apparently it's the snot-nosed brats who are logical and fair in this forum. You're getting some juicy content that is in the middle of a debate. I said, us snot-nosed brats can just as easily say you're the one whose ego is doing the talking. But I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't say that because I don't know you. But you have to assume a false superior knowledge in order to attack my character. Well, it doesn't work on me. And of course, it is your responsibility to address my arguments in a satisfactory manner. You ought to do something other than just assess my character. And a little smiley face for lightheartedness. And I said, let's try to be friends and talk about what Hightail was before it was canceled. And I think that's what this was about. This was about Hightail. That's what this topic was about. Look, here's somebody agreeing with what I said earlier on. So anyways, I was confused when I got this. What was the passive aggressive language? If anything, I think I was being upfront and direct, and also healthy. I was not attacking them. I got a warning for this. This is the reason I'm banned right here. I don't think that's necessarily fair. But I do understand this. I've been attacked on the forums, and that's fair enough. But I defended myself. This is me defending myself. And funny enough, Tyron, the lead developer of Vintage Story, once told me, he said, hey, I kind of saw some of your, paraphrasing, but he said, I saw some of your forum posts, and he said, you might be interested in Stoicism. And so he turned me on to Stoicism, where I looked into it, and basically part of Stoicism is it's like an ideology, it's a philosophy, it's don't defend yourself. And I'm oversimplifying it, but the idea is, in cases like this, why defend myself? Their opinion doesn't do anything to me. So I like that. It's an interesting philosophy, and I actually started to practice a lot of that later on here. Yeah, I defended myself here, and maybe I shouldn't have. Perhaps I shouldn't have, but I did. Let's go back to the warnings. Please use less passive-aggressive language. No topic bumping with 10 replies. Maybe I'm banned because I posted four posts in a row. Maybe that's, part of the reason I got banned from the forum that I actually paid to be on. Shoot, I paid for the games. I guess you could say, I didn't pay to be on the forums. I paid to play the game, and I just am lucky enough to have got to be on the forums, engage in the forums as a member. So anyways, let me scroll up here. So I messaged a moderator and said, hey, I quoted, please use less passive-aggressive language and use one topic to respond all. No topic bumping with 10 replies, please. I said, good morning. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for the warning. What language was passive-aggressive? A moderator replied, second and third sentences in. Well, let's go back to second and third messages in. Okay, second and third sentences in. So let's wait for a period. Let's see. Okay, that's one sentence. I don't know. Is that a second sentence? That's a third sentence? Okay, so that looks like the second and third sentences to me. Especially the second one. So I said, okay, thanks for the reply. So, just to be clear, I can't ask someone why they are attacking my character, which is the second sentence, and I can't suggest de-escalating without personal attacks, third sentence, because those things are passive-aggressive. Do I have this correct? And this moderator replied, these are the sentences. So I believe what they meant was like third passages or second and third paragraphs kind of thing. So this is what I shouldn't have said. Maybe you're right. I've acted like a snot-nosed brat. You can see for yourself. You can read. They said, of course, ask for de-escalating is okay, but you don't need to attack them in a passive manner. Ask them directly. Your post would be just enough if these two sentences were removed. And I said, oh, I see. What part of those sentences were passive attacks? I feel I was very direct and fair. Was it because I used the terminology snot-nosed brat? And they replied, both sentences. There is not a single word in separate that does that. Passive-aggressive language is contextual. And I replied, well, I'm trying to understand what about those two sentences was passive attacks, so I'm trying to help break them down so you can tell me. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to be banned, and passive-aggressive language is contextual isn't going to stop me from making more messages like those two, because I don't know what about them was passive-aggressive attacks. I did not get a warning for any single word I typed, but I got a warning for something contextual. I'm trying to understand so I don't repeat the same behavior next time. Was it that I questioned whether his verbiage was allowed? Was it that I implied I'm logical and fair in the forum? Was it that when he aggressively said my ego was talking, I suggested I wouldn't do that to him? Was that I mentioned he was attacking my character? These are breakdowns of my two comments that you brought up. I'm trying to learn what was passive-aggressive in my language because it's contextual. It's very vague. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to understand. Would it help if we brought up another moderator here to help explain? Then I said, did the other member get a warning for being aggressive? Because I think maybe what happened is they were being very aggressive, and when I handled it carefully, it made my fair messages appear passive-aggressive. Is this maybe what happened? And this moderator said, the warnings from the other users are their own private info. Fair enough. The second sentence I cited was an indirect attack on the person you replied to. Us snot-nosed brats can just as easily say you're the one whose ego is doing the talking, but I wouldn't do that. They say, but you did do that by writing the sentence in the middle of the reply and doing it publicly. An explicit example. Some people similar as me in the forum would call you an egocentric person because the last post, but I wouldn't do that. He says, that's the clarification. The warning is given. Try to be careful in your interactions in the forum if you want to continue to do it. So you already have 3 warnings in the span of a month. And I said, I disagree. I didn't say they were the ones whose ego was doing the talking. I didn't accuse them of having an ego. I made it clear that I could just as easily say the opposite to show that they were being aggressive without any solid basis. It's like, hey, you can say I have an ego. I can just as easily say you're having an ego, but I'm not going to do that. I think that's very fair. But again, that's me defending myself, right? I think I shouldn't have defended myself in a forum. I think that's ultimately what led me into being banned as well. But I said, but okay, now I understand what you're saying was passive-aggressive in the bottom comment. Thank you. But what was passive-aggressive about the top comment? And he said, as I said, it's contextual. It's the first sentence I marked is a preamble to the second one. Anyway, this discussion is closed. No more replies on this subject from now on via DMs. Okay, so there's that one. Just to make it clear, yeah, I got my third warning from that. Okay, this would be warning number 4. Spamming. Rorax said, do not bait. The explanation has been given in your hide alert. And I don't know where my hide alert is now, but let me bring you to a discussion to show you the info on this one. So I messaged the admin team and said, here's another thing I got. I guess it was also the fourth one. They've said, you have been warned already to keep things on topic. This kind of bait is unacceptable, especially when you're reporting people for taking it. This is your fourth forum point. A fifth is a ban. Be aware. Now they're saying up here, especially when you're reporting people for taking it. I started reporting people because they were reporting me. And I learned that apparently if you don't report somebody and they report you, you're the one that's going to get in trouble, even if they did just worse than you did. So they could do worse than you did, and you'll be the one that gets in trouble. And the moderators don't care. They just address what's been reported. And I think possibly an example of this is this thread right here, where I say, I make this post, and Trogdor replies to something something I said that's very healthy. I said, I want to encourage everyone to work together in a healthy and intellectual manner. And they replied with, then drop the arrogant attitude when faced with rebuttal from those that disagree with you. Later on, this is the thread where I got one of my posts deleted, and then this is right here is the post that I got warned in. So, moderator was in this thread. Look, I even said here, why didn't they get silenced by having their message, You can see my messages got deleted, some of them, hidden, but there's messages like this that are right here that are also doing, I think, worse than what I've done, but this message still stands. Now, if they wanted a healthy community, why wouldn't they get rid of these messages like this one? Maybe she got warned for it. I don't know. So I said, sorry, I don't see which post you're referring to. It doesn't show me a post. They replied, the post that this message hid is the post I'm referring to. The post where you were being snarky about Shotai's comments. You keep asking in your reports if you can ask the same. No, of course you can't. And I was reporting some comments, and I would say, look, they're straight up attacking my character. Is this allowed? Why is this still up? Am I allowed to do this? They're saying, no, of course you can't. So I said, well, I don't see which message was hidden, and I'm not sure which one it was. Can you at least quote me the message so I know which message earned me my fourth warning? I'm really having to pull teeth to figure out what it is I did wrong that I'm about to get banned for. So, they replied, oh, okay, here's a perfect example. So, this is a quote right here. Trogdor had said, I long for the day that Rudimetkin enters the final arc of his character development and can relearn how to be freaking polite to people online. To quote the guy himself, I might even be able to live to see it. And so I had replied to Trogdor saying, yeah, so hey, Trogdor, how could I have been more polite in this interaction? Maybe thank you for calling me a snot-nosed brat, or what? Now, again, you're in the middle of some a spicy debate. This is where that one member Shotai had called me a snot-nosed brat, which is silly language to use in a forum. And I had replied, I got a warning for this. I got a warning for saying this. Hey, how can I have been more polite? Thanks for calling me a snot-nosed brat, or what? So I had said, what? Really? Me asking how I could have been more polite? I don't care what you say, that's what it was. Got me my fourth warning. That is unfortunate. And they said, this is clearly sarcastic, and in context, now here, they refer to context again. Context. It's like a context fallacy. Like they're hiding behind the context. I think that they know that they're being pretty ridiculous, and so they have to hide. They don't have anything to really show, so they have to hide behind context. They can appear to this flag that's not really there. They can appear to this thing that, hey, context, and in context. That's what you're doing wrong. It's the context. Um, I think it's a load of BS. What they're saying in context is baiting the participants into conversation, Rudo. Yes, fourth point. Well, a forum is for conversation. And I think I was, I was defending myself. I think that was my biggest problem here. My biggest problem is I was defending myself. I shouldn't have defended myself so much. I think that is partly why I got banned. So then here's where I told the person, I said, you don't know what trying to learn looks like when it's right in front of you. I was trying to learn. I am genuine about my journey toward being more kind, but you have already demonized me in your mind and have been interpreting my genuine messages as bait and trolling since the two first warnings I got. Well, now I'll stop asking questions in the forum based on my fourth point being given due to me asking how I can be more polite. Thanks for the info. And then I said, I understand if you don't want me to be here because some members got stirred up when I arrived, or if I stirred you up by my comments. At the end of the day, I'm a number, and you need the forums to run smoothly. I get that. You can ban me on that basis alone. I would accept that. It's your forum, not mine. But the current system we have going on, where I'm getting official warnings for trying to learn how to be kind, is getting ridiculous. And they said warnings happen regardless of who you are. I said, I don't think you can justify giving me a warning for that. You don't give people warnings for that. That's not baiting. That's not sarcasm. This forum sometimes is like a circus, where many people use Mickey Mouse logic against you. It's a natural reaction to defend yourself and challenge other people's views. Maybe you don't get it because you aren't active in it, and maybe and people are going to respect you, especially since you're an admin. But as we established, it's your forum, and we need to keep it running smoothly. So at this time, I was going to stop. I intended to stop engaging on the forums, and I took a break and did some self reflection and studied stoicism and per Tyron's suggestion, And what I got banned for, my next warning, actually had nothing to do with how I was interacting with people as far as defending myself goes. I was done defending myself. There's even a message that somebody had made later on where they eventually changed it. I'll put it up on screen right here. And I replied to this message. This is just one of those attacks you get when you're on forums. I replied to the message, but I replied to the good things in the message. Vintage Story is designed for difficulty. Here's the updated version. And look, Merklack gave him wolf bait. That's awesome. Thanks, Merklack. And I want to give a shout out to some of the good members here. I think some of the stronger members are. Let's see if I can find them. I like Echo Weaver. Seems very solid. I like that guy. I think this member right here, very solid. Very solid member. Engine. That's a solid member right there. This guy, I like this guy. Maelstrom. Solid member. This guy right here. Thorfinn. One of my favorite members. One of the most posts, too. 3,598. So anyways, I said, thank you for the dialogue and conversations. This is to the the administration team, pretty much. I said, I wish you the best. I wish the best for you and the forum members. I'll continue to play Vintage Story and maybe create my own community around it. Just know that I think the community has a considerable amount of unfair people, and I think the forum staff handled me unfairly. I did scold them. I said, I don't think you can justify giving me a warning for this message right here. You don't give people warnings for that. I didn't get a reply, and that's good. That's fine. The last thing, this is what I got banned for. Scroll all the way down here. General off topic. And right here, the flat earth theory thread. I said, what do you guys think of the flat earth theory? The theory that the earth is not actually an oblate spheroid, but a relatively flat disk of some sort. Now, I was genuine in this. I wasn't trying to stir up controversy. That's I can see, though, how that's a controversial topic. Okay, that's fair. But I wasn't trying to stir up controversy. I wasn't trying to start fights or anything. I actually think that I just, like 2 days ago, before posting this, I had a very intellectual discussion with some people about this exact thing, the flat Earth theory. I think there's strong points to the flat Earth theory, and there's weak points to it. And I think there's strong points to the globe Earth theory, and there's weak points to the globe Earth theory. I'm an original thinker. I don't take people's word for things very easily. I'm very skeptical by nature. And so, to me, this was a fun off-topic topic, but whatever. So this person, Catherine, said, bait used to be believable. And I said, hey, Catherine, I'm sorry, I don't understand your comment. Are you suggesting this thread is not appropriate? And then Rorax came in and said, number 5, no controversial content. Topic closed. Okay, the topic got closed. A little bit after that, I got banned. And Rorax said, where is it? It's in my profile. Right here. Said, seriously? You waste your last point on flat Earth? Welcome to restricted posting. I think Rorax has been waiting to tell me this right here, just by the way she said it. The funny thing is my post got banned. I got banned for making a controversial topic, but this topic right below it is still up and not locked, and it is very controversial. Microwaves are the most evil constructs in this world. They are pure chaotic evil and revel in chaos and destruction, using their evil powers to imbue food with entropy. I don't know if that's imbue or not, or how you say that. Their purpose in this world is to create a black hole to consume the entire universe, but so far they've only reached a point where the molecules in the food move more rapidly, causing it to heat up. Microwaves are the most evil constructs in this world. It's not locked or anything, and it's been here since August 5th. So that's a very controversial post, and controversial posts are not allowed. In fact, I got banned for a post that was deemed controversial. I got banned for an inflammatory or controversial post. This right here has been up much longer than mine. It's been up for 14 days, and it's, maybe nobody reported it, but that goes to my point again, where moderation team is they're not doing a good job at being fair. If you're going to limit lots of discussion and discourage discussion, then try to be, this forum is not that busy right here. It's not. Do you need more moderators? Do you guys need more moderators? Because the ones you got are not being consistent. Maybe they can't be. Maybe they're too busy. Maybe you need more moderators. But this has been up since August 5th. Mine was posted yesterday, and I was banned for it. So there's my argument there. I think forum staff is pretty ridiculous in my experience. I think I've been a very fair member. Yes, I'm not perfect. I've been growing. I've actually grown a lot in my whole time here, and I love this game, and I enjoy the community. I think I've been healthy for the community. In fact, I want to go through 2 more things at least. This right here is a message with one of the forum staff. I had said, hello, I'm from the Vintage Story forums. I said, I received a warning from you on the forums. I wrote out an in-depth message for you about it, but I'd rather just get straight to the point about it. Oh, let me say, this was early on. I think this was after the first warning I got. This right here is probably another reason why the forum staff was I think they were kind of after me. I think they were kind of out to get me because of this, and then we're going to get into this. I said, you gave me an official warning and said, engage in the topic, not the behavior of your peers. Not engaging in the behavior of my peers means not thanking them for helping me, not thanking them for being kind, and not critiquing them for failing to consider a point, since helping and being kind are all behaviors, and I'm not allowed to engage in their behaviors. This is just logic. I was told, do not engage in the behavior of your peers. Well, engaging in the behavior of your peers includes thanking them for their help. And so, very simple. I said, with all due respect, this is an unreasonable demand. That's right. Kind of wasn't a fair warning, wasn't it? It was kind of unreasonable. I said, makes me wonder, what am I supposed to think after being put in a confusing situation like this? They said, the warning was for the multiple reports that we had of you not thanking them for helping me, not thanking them for being kind, and certainly not critiquing them for failing to consider a point. You were warned for several comments made critiquing the character of the person you were engaged with. So they said all this stuff. Then they said, if this outcome is not satisfactory, you're welcome to contact Enego support and make an official complaint about my moderation. And I said, I do have a complaint. You charged me with content trolling when I have been sincere the entire time. Also, my status is... Okay, so my status on the forum, I'm going to show you. It was very important Ventarian. And so I had said, my status is very important Ventarian on the forums, and my username is Rudametkin. I don't appreciate being referred to as the user by staff in the forums. And there's somewhere in the forums where moderators publicly referred to me as the user. I believe it was publicly. They referred to me as the user when they were talking about something I'd said, and when they locked one of my posts, I think. And I think that's I didn't like that. I have a name, you know, and you guys consider me very important Ventarian. So I said, I'm disappointed that this is how you treat your very important, quote, members. Now, I'm not saying I'm very important. They're saying I'm very important. Make that very clear. I'm just happy that Vintage Story, the game, runs better than the forums. And they said, I don't take complaints. If you would like to make a complaint, as mentioned above, you need to contact Enego support. And so you know, very important Ventarian is a forum rank, and it's determined by the number of posts and the engagement with those posts. It is not a manual classification, and it is not an indication of your status of importance to Enego Studios. That is to say that your value as a user of the forums is no more or less than anyone else in the forums. And again, let me make it clear, guys, I'm not the one saying I'm a very important member. They are. But I replied, no, it isn't. It's not a rank that's determined by the number of posts. I earned it by donating money to Enego Studios because I support the game. And they said, my apologies, you are correct. However, the point stands. Donation does not change your value. Blah, blah, blah. I think I just made a really clever point saying, look, you guys call me very important, yet you refer to me as the user. I'm going to have to find that to show you guys while I'm here. I said, I'm not concerned whether Enego Studios considers all members to be of the same importance. In other words, I'm saying I don't care about all that. Enego Studios considers me a very important member indicated by the title Enego Studios gave me, and I am disappointed in how you treated me as a very important member. That's in quotations. I'm not calling myself very important member. They're calling me an important member. I said, my complaint will reach the department that takes complaints. Ultimately, I decided not to give complaints. Maybe she's going through a rough time, and I'm just a stupid member in the community, right? So I ultimately decided it's not worth it. I'll just move on. And they said, thanks for your understanding. I said, hello, please make the S in supportive a capital S in my forum title. So they changed it. Because of me, they changed it to very supportive Ventarian. But as I can see, the supportive doesn't look very good. It's not capital. And it should be capital. It just doesn't look professional, does it? It doesn't look suitable. It doesn't look presentable. So I said, please make it capital. I said, it's currently the only lowercase word in my title, and therefore does not look presentable as is advertised in the supporter add-on package. Thank you. And they said, this is a request which you need to make to support. Moderation is not able to change aspects of the website. You can contact support at Vintage Story at support. I said, thank you. I figured you could do it since you presumably got it changed based on the fact that it got changed right after our discussion about it happened yesterday. It seems you could vouch for me as a very supportive member and easily ensure it gets handled, but would rather have me jump through the hoop for it. That is unfortunate for me. Guys, I think I feel my entire time with this forum feels like, for the most part, I'm running uphill with forum staff. They outright call me from the get-go a troll. I don't think that's fair. I think that's a load of BS. But I said I feel I will just have to document it as part of experience as a very supportive member to the support team. This is what a once deemed very important member, now deemed very supportive. This is my take on the whole thing. The title was changed by Enegos yesterday based on your comment. Yes, they felt that important. Send the wrong message. And then I said, and here's the last thing I want to go over. I made an awesome topic. I spent a lot of time in it. Right here. Now I made this, how to give quality feedback to suggestions, and I gave a suggestion of my own. Right here. Okay. Took several hours to make. I made it from scratch. This is solid stuff right here, showing people, encouraging healthy forum engagement. Here I highlight Engine for encouraging us to discuss how we can make our ideas work. He's a very healthy member. And then here I said to Tyrant, I said, hey, I had this idea for roasted flax marshmallows for Vintage Story, and I called up Tyrant. I said, hey, what better way for a team of Vintarians to celebrate victory together than to make some roasted flax marshmallows out of those pesky drifters? I'm beginning to sense a new nightly Vintage Story ritual coming in the next update. I love this idea of killing a drifter, and then you get the flax, and you're able to make flax marshmallows out of it, and then you can roast them at a campfire. It just seems so fitting for Vintage Story that you can roast drifters in a campfire, and I love the idea. He's probably too busy. He might have seen it, might add it later. I don't know, but I added that. But anyways, this whole thing is a very nice. It's a love letter to the community. I'm giving to the community, and the post was just hidden like out of nowhere because they said it was in the wrong location. I posted it in the suggestions forum where they were like, it doesn't belong here, so they got rid of it. All of that hard work, they just got rid of it. I think that's another problem with the community. They really discourage hard work. This is good, healthy stuff right here. This is me helping the forum, and they're discouraging it because what does moderation team do? They just get rid of it. And I had to find out, okay, so I messaged them. I said, hey, I don't think I have access to the post that I wrote that was recently hidden, so it is lost for me. Can you guys move it to a more fitting forum? I think it was a great post for the community to encourage high-quality engagement, particularly kind and supportive engagement. And then they said, I had to reach out to them for this. They said, I don't think I can move it, but I can copy it, including the formatting to fit in a text file. I said, that would be great, thanks. And they said, so then they posted it. They said they can move it. They were being very nice here. They said, all right, it's preserved in all its glory and is now in discussion. I liked it. I said, thank you. They said, no worries. So that's why we can see it here. And I appreciate that. But the fact that I had to reach out and fight for it to even be reposted, it's very poor behavior of the moderation team to just get rid of a post like that just because they deemed, hey, it doesn't belong in this forum. That's a load of BS as well. Okay, and I think there's one more thing I want to show. I think it's kind of funny that the Trogdor here, this member said, referring to me, they said, I even addressed narcissism with Rudimenkin privately, and his response was, I this and I that and me. His entire response was about himself. It was amusing. I long for the day that blah, blah, blah. Since Trogdor here is kind of talking about our DMs, which were private messages, if anybody wants to see all the DMs, what they really were, I'm willing. Just let me know. I'm willing to share them with you because obviously she's fine with sharing them to the public. So that's not a concern for me. But I did reply to this comment as well, and that got deleted. But of course, this one didn't get deleted. But what I replied got deleted, and I also have that one somewhere that if somebody wants to see it, I can send it. But basically, I was saying, what did you expect? Now, if you DM me saying, hey, you're a narcissist, and you give me all these tips on like, hey, here's how you can do better. You asked for how you could do better, so here's how you can do better. She was sharing with me, I think you're a narcissist, and this is why kind of thing. And I replied, I this and I that and me. Kind of funny because what did you expect me to say? You're talking about me being a narcissist, so am I supposed to not address me being a narcissist? Of course my responses are going to be I this and I that and me. That's just funny to me. What did you want me to talk about you instead? Was I supposed to talk about you? Right? So that's such a silly thing. I just wanted to say that as well. And I think that's probably about all I got. The forums are, look, got a brand new player here. Hopefully, this person right here stays and becomes a healthy member of the community and doesn't get unfairly treated like I did. Hopefully. Well, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. And I guess I'll end on this note. I don't have a community. As you can see, everywhere I go, I'm restricted from posting, and I believe it's indefinite. Indefinitely. Look at this. Restricted from posting indefinitely. And some of those warnings were totally ridiculous. But I'm restricted from posting indefinitely, so I don't have this community anymore. This means I'm going to double down on my own YouTube channel, and you are my community. Any of you who follow my content and my vintage story content, any of my content, well, you're my vintage story community. And so, thank you for being here. Look forward to the upcoming adventures with you guys. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Oh, and at this point, Enego Studios almost can't unban me. If they did, they would be admitting to fault. So there's a sense where I, as a member, would be gaining a lot of power. If I could overturn an admin's decision to ban me just by stating my case, that kind of perception of power can get to someone's head. So Enego Studios would have to be careful on their end doing something like that. A weak and shameless person would refuse to respect the admin moving forward if they were able to get unbanned like that. Of course, I would give the admin the respect they deserve, and I don't think they deserve respect for ignorantly framing me as trolling because I'm being genuine. So it may be best for Enego Studios to defend their forum admin and enjoy their community without me, having rejected me. When I bought 4 copies of Vintage Story, I received 4 copies of Vintage Story. When I donated to Enego Studios, they received a no-obligation donation. And now that they are rejecting me from their forum community, I don't want to be there. I think they lost a great member, but I will continue to support Vintage Story the game. The forum staff clearly makes inflammatory assumptions about their members.